Hi, welcome back with another tip and trick in Disney Dreamlight Valley. We are going to be going over a touch of magic. Now, I'm going to specifically be using my crosswalk rug as an example with furniture for this video, since it was highly requested on how I make these, especially like the roads that I did back in the day up here. I'm going to use these as an example to kind of take care of two birds, one stone here. But I'm going to be going over three major things in today's video. How to set up for the Touch of Magic items, because when you first start out, you're only going to have 4 listed, so I'm going to show you where to get the others. Also, what each of the buttons are within the menu that you can customize, and how I made that crosswalk and or road. I'll show you an example of how I was able to put those pieces together. And the nice thing is, especially with the road and crosswalk, you can almost immediately set up for this. All of them are basic motifs, basic shapes, so you don't have to worry about having to have played during a special event or anything. I don't have anything that has like a picture or anything on it. They're all just the basic colors, shapes, stuff. So it'll be very easy for anyone just first starting out or has been in the game for a while. Okay, so let's first answer the question, what is a touch of magic? Now, when they're specifically talking about a touch of magic in this game, this symbol is going to be the symbol that you need to think of anytime you hear that statement. But essentially, a touch of magic is an in-game customizable tool. All it really does is allow you to personalize items like your furniture or clothes by changing the colors, patterns, effects, it's just a whole plethora of things that really just make it unique and special for you. Right? It's a touch of magic that is on your valley specifically. Now, you can get and share designs with your friends now through Daisy's shop, which is awesome. But if you specifically love designing or you want to give it a go, it's really, really not very difficult to use. And I'm going to teach you today what each of those advanced tool menu buttons are and kind of what they mean so that you don't feel kind of blind going into this. Now, when you first start out in the game, you are only going to have 4 items in this list. This will, by the way, will all be empty. This will be blank. You will not have any of this, so don't freak out if you open this and it's empty or all you have is like the add new button. But when you go to this menu, you are only going to have 4 items. You're only going to have the basic large table, the basic chair, basic wardrobe, and the basic double bed. Now, these 4 things you can keep and design as many as you would like. That's great. That's fine. However, if you would like to design something like the basic rug to make things like the roads or other fun designs, maybe you want to do a lamp, fridge, you want to make something that sits out on the beach that's more specific and special for your valley, whatever the case is, right? You want to know how to get these other items unlocked or how to obtain them? I'm here to help you out. Don't freak out. Now, there's one of 2 things that you need to do. So you're going to go to your crafting table, go to the furniture tab. You're going to scroll down until you get to a bunch of white basic furniture. And basic should be in the name right there. It should also now have this lovely little tag in the corner that has that, what was that? The symbol, the paintbrush for Touch of Magic. Now, each of these items you need to craft at least 1 time. This unlocks the ability to design something on top of that item. Now, once you've crafted at least one of them, and this has unlocked the ability to make designs for these pieces, you will need to craft however many pieces of that item that you would like to then lay down to put that design on top of. And I'll show you what I mean. But if, for example, I wanted to lay down a road, and I needed however many pieces to make the road go from here to here, I would count out however many pieces I need. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I would need to craft 8 basic rugs. And then I could go into my menu to the customized button. This may be empty, may not be empty, doesn't matter. I could add a new design, go to the basic rug that I just crafted. And then from here, I can start designing whatever pieces I need. And I can design as many pieces as I need to design up until I hit the cap. Right now, as of November 2024, the current cap is sitting at 32 designs. Once you've hit 32, and it's of any designs, as you can see, I have signs, I have small rugs, I have large rugs, I have tables. It doesn't matter. It's furniture entirely. Once I hit 32, it stops. I hope in the future they allow us to have more. At the current moment, it's just the only amount you're allowed. But if you're like me and design a little too many in excitement, I'm going to teach you today how to make this other road that's a little more seamless and allows you to only have to do one design rather than 8 designs. So that you can savor and be more efficient. But regardless, if you want to make this one or the other one, I'll show you how to do both of those. Once you have the ability to craft the piece that you want, you can either edit and start it, or if you want to know how to get the other pieces still on that list, the secondary place that you can find basic items is in Daisy's place. Now, you'll have to get her onto your valley, unlock her, place down her shop. I have an entire how-to video on all of her stuff, so feel free, please, I encourage you to go check it out. I go over in depth how to do her shop stuff, and I make it very, very easy to understand. So once you have her unlocked, she's available on your shop, and you've started using and doing her fashion fiestas for her daily stuff, you should talk to her again and go to her shop itself. And notice that you're going to see my clothing is empty because I've purchased everything. But she has basic outfits that you can buy for the first time. They can vary in price. But then she also has furniture pieces. Now, the upside and downside to this is we got more pieces, which is awesome. We can now make doors. We can make rock paths, TVs, a whole bunch of really fun, cute stuff. However, all of these pieces, as of current, you are required to repurchase through Daisy. So unlike the other basic furniture that you can just craft as many pieces as necessary, these pieces in particular, you have to come back to Daisy and buy however many pieces you need. So, for example, I have a rug that I purchased way back in the day and designed. That's the small circular rug. I don't have an extra one. I haven't purchased an extra one. But when I go to my menu, you're going to see that in it. So there's the design. And it's all still the way that I left it, which is perfect. But as you can see, the little number, it's a 0 because I don't have another one in my inventory. It's already laid out somewhere. And the only way that I can get an extra piece of this is by purchasing it through Daisy again. And unfortunately, it's the same price, regardless if it's the second time I bought it or the first time I bought it. So be sure to save up as much Daisy bucks as you can. Hopefully that's something that either gets cheaper or, I don't know, just, it's just really expensive. But anyways, this is how you get all of these extra pieces here. Okay, so I would just have to buy more or extra of this if I wanted to lay down that same design, or if I made a new design and I would like to lay down that other design as well. So I would just be aware of that. Now, let's move forward. You now have the piece you want, or you know where you can get it, and now you would like to work on the design. How do you do it? What do the buttons mean? Don't freak out. I'm here to help you out. So you should aim to either be on the spot that you would like the rug to sit, or if for some reason you cannot, you should be somewhere next to it in an open area. Now, there's multiple reasons for this. I'm going to show you one of them. If you're sitting in front of something or on top of something that has some stuff in the way, even if you're kind of like nearby it, but it's somewhere close by. If I go to edit something, let's pretend with my fake rug for an example, I would like to fix the design. See how this now is in the way? It's not too much of an eyesore, but it's enough that it's kind of blocking what I need. I can't have that, right? So just be aware. This is why I'm showing you as an example. Just make sure your character is kind of standing in an open area and or the area that you would like to physically be in. Okay, perfect. Okay, now I want to show you what each button does. These buttons do different things depending on the material that you're spending your time on. Here, you can click and change the texture. This can vary from what looks like fur or grass to a pattern that's like basket weaving. And you can even go as far as to changing how dark of wood, or maybe you want it to look like it's birchwood, or it's up in the Frozen Heights area, right? There's so many ways that you can make the texture kind of work in your favor to bring whatever you're creating to life. more so than the norm. Now, for this road in particular, I don't want any gloss. I want it to be as flat as it can get. I don't want it to look like it's glossy. I want it to blend in, right? So I love using the one that looks more like concrete. It's just as close to it as I can get. I personally don't like it to be too light in comparison to the road that it's currently on. That's just my personal preference. So I would go down here, and then I'm going to get to as close of a color as I can get. This is the closest. And I personally don't mind it being slightly darker. To me, it just looks like a slight lip that you would go up and above, kind of like a speed bump versus when it's lighter. Lighter to me kind of looks more cartoonish, which it's once again personal preference, but totally up to you. This, as it says, changes it and makes it glossy. And this is if you turned it on and made it metal. If I was to suddenly make it metal and then turn off the gloss, it would be more flat metal, wouldn't shine. However, I don't want it to be metal. I need it to look concrete. So we're going to move past that, right? So here, I'm going to go to my basic shapes. We're just going to click on a line, okay? So I know what you're thinking. How do I get my camera over here? I don't get it. It's stuck. Don't worry. Wherever you place your little icon, if you placed it all the way over to the other side, just click on it again, and it'll move your camera to wherever you placed it, just to make it easier on your eyes. So I'm going to line this up here, and I can see right where the curb starts and right where the grass ends. I would like the grass to blend in with my rug, just to make it more realistic. So I'm going to pull up my menu for this. This button allows me to make it bigger or smaller, enlarge or not, right? This button allows me to rotate it. This allows me to change the color. This is advanced tools. Now, in the advanced tools, this can be kind of overwhelming, but here you can see, now this isn't a good example for the top one, so let me pull out something that you can actually see directionally. When you go to advanced tools, if I press this button, this will flip it, quite literally mirroring it to face the other direction. So if I don't like the bite to be this, or let's just say I wanted to have two of them, I could either get another of the same motif, or if I resized it for whatever reason, and I don't remember how far I resized it, and I wanted it to be the same size, I could have it highlighted, click on the advanced tools, mirror it. Now I have two of the same size. They're mirrored, which is nice, but let's pretend I didn't want it mirrored, right? I'm like, oh, no, I wanted it to be the same size, but on the same direction. Just click on the new one, go to advanced tools, fix it, rotate it right back. Now it's the same size, it's in the same, either mirrored of the same spot, whatever the case is, but in the same direction now. So that's what that one does. This flips it, this mirrors whatever it is. This is a really fun one. So I'll get you a different motif to show you a good example. So this fun rainbow design, right? Beautiful. But what if we press this cut button? What does this do? It's taking the base color and texture, and it's cutting it through whatever it's sitting on top of. So this is a great way to add like kind of a negative space into what you're doing, or you can use it to clean things up. For example, if I need this line, let's pretend it, for some reason, it's just, I wanted it to be this long. I didn't want to use too many of my layers because you only get 50. So I need the length, but I can't have with this length it this wide. I could easily grab another piece, right? I'm just moving it down here real quick. Go into here, my advanced tools, cut, and then I could just slide this over. To clean it up. And that takes it and makes it so much nicer, so much easier. I don't have to worry about, oh, I got to get another piece and then try to match this color to this weird texture, because it's not really possible, right? If I was to change this color to a gray, it could get to that gray, but you can see it's flatter than the texture that's underneath it, because I can't really change this texture. I can only change the color, because there's no texture on the motif in itself. So I now have this piece. I know what you're thinking. I don't get it. Why do you have that? I don't understand. What are you doing? Here, I can take the green, kind of highlight over, or pick the one I feel like matches the closest, which that one to me matches the closest in this area. And then go all the way down here until I finish it and level it out, and then do another one. For the curb. I do this again. I can mirror it, and then, oh, let's just mirror it again, just because I'm like, okay, now I'm going to use this as the way to cut it. And then mirror that. And then look at that. And now I have almost a complete curb completed. There's only like 6 layers that are being used so far, and I'm just kind of willy-nilly using them, right? So I would fully finish this, and then I would go and make each of the hashes with the exact same shape. I would just do it in a different way, right? So I'm just going to pull out another shape. And then this time, I want to make this to where these are the lines that you walk across. So I would come here. I would be like, okay, I need them to be kind of thick. I need them to be kind of big in comparison, right? So I'm going to make them, by just judgment, this big. And then let's pretend I like this size. I like how they all look. If I wanted them all over this, I could press this button and make an entire pattern with it. Maybe I wanted the hashes on the road, and then I would be able to do that if I moved it over and then just have those in the center. Or I could even mirror them at the same time and move it in a really fun pattern. And then, you know, possibilities are endless. So we have our flip, mirror, edit out. This is your pattern creator. Now, this button in particular, this allows whatever object you're on to have it show from the front to the back. I want this circle to be on the front. You can now see that circle is on the front as well. Now, the last advanced button that you would like to look at is this one. So here, if I did this and I really wanted this to be on the front, just as is, it kind of grabs and wraps wherever the shirt is because it's meant to just kind of be on the shirt, right? But if I wanted it to be more 2D and place it where I want it, it's like more, I feel like more of like a graphic tee. It's like, this is where it is. It doesn't matter where you are. Like, it doesn't matter what you're doing at that time, instead of it kind of just flowing with the fabric itself. So I hope that kind of answered all of the advanced editing tool questions. The road in itself is very, very easy. As I showed you, I just simply sit on top or nearby the area that I would like to add it to. The example that I used earlier, this is the road, for example. I'm facing another direction, but if I flipped it, it would fit just like how that one fits. And just kind of flow within it pretty seamlessly. I just quite literally use the same shape over and over and over again. Now, what does trip a lot of people up is like these hashes underneath. I don't think that far ahead to be like, oh, I got to put the yellow now because it's going to be what goes underneath. I never think about that until I'm done. Don't fret. It's very easy once you've added something new to the layer. If you wanted it for some reason to be at the bottom, all you have to do is grab it, highlight it, and drag it. So let's pretend I wanted this red star to be at the bottom, okay, so that you can only see like the spiky things at the top. I can't while it's highlighted because I'm still highlighting over it. So make sure that you're not sitting on it. You can move freely. You want to click and hold until you're able to kind of drag it, and then you can move it and drag it to however many layers down deep you would like. If I go all the way to the bottom, there you go. All the way at the bottom. Now, if I wanted to edit it and I click on it, it'll pop it above the others, so I don't have to necessarily like work underneath stuff, which is very nice. But once I'm done and I've clicked off of it, it goes back to the layer that it's meant to be at. Once again, I have two different methods of roads. I'm going to be transitioning to this one more so than the other. But the way that I did the other road is the exact same way that I did that one. The same thing, I just use shapes. And once again, this curved shape is a shape that we all have. Pretty sure I used like this one at the time. Let's see. Yeah, so every one of us should have these. They all start out with it, and the nice thing is that if you do what I did and you line it up with what's supposed to be grass, pretend grass, there is certain foliage, like hedges or other things like these plants, that you can use to clip through the rugs to make it feel more seamless into the environment and not feel so kind of blocky, I guess. So there's a bunch of tips and tricks onto integrating the touch of magic items better into your valley. It's really just preference, but let me know in the comments below if there is something I didn't go over, if you have any more further questions, or if there is something you would like to know more about in the future. I'll see you next time.